So in the last class, we understood functions and Windows object. So there was one more topic, introduction to DOM, that we were unable to cover in the last class. So today we will see introduction of DOM, and we will see how we can select DOM elements. Okay. So basically, whatever code we write in our HTML file now, that is that creates the DOM, document object model. If we will, as I already taught you, the type of operator. Type of operator tells us about what is the type of a specific variable, whether it is a string, whether it is an object, and whether it is some numbers. And as we have already learned that the type of all the primitive data type will be always same as their data type. On the other hand, the type of all the reference data type will be always object. There are only one exception in that, that is function, that is type of a function is function. Apart from that, all other have type of as object. So the if we will check the type of this document object model, then this will also show us object only. And in the Windows object model, we already have seen that DOM is a part of Windows object. So window is the global object. Inside that we have a property called DOM object. So as every object has some their inbuilt methods which will do some specific tasks, similarly DOM has some inbuilt method that we can utilize. So someone please share the code that we did in the last section. I shared some HTML files. So someone share that screen, we will do in. Andy?
Say it again.
Yeah, can you share your screen? Like where we have the last session, I have shared some notes of HTML and JSON.
Uh, cannot see it. Where did you share it?
Not in the notes channel, not in this. There is one channel called front end notes. In that channel, I have shared the codes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this two. Okay, no issues. I will do it.
Should I copy this?
Leave it, I will share my screen. You should have already copied this and like test it. I will share it in my screen. Is my screen visible? We have to see all the documents. We have this index.html file. So here we have one HTML tag, one head tag, one body tag, few div tags, and few unordered list tag. Okay. So how we can see what is the DOM of this? We can write here one document dot all. It will give us the length of all the documents that we can see, whatever the total is. if we go to console, you can see we are getting this Windows object. Inside this Windows object, we have something called document. So this is all created document. So DOM is basically nothing, all the HTML tag that we are using inside our HTML file, that creates one tree like structure of whatever tag we are using. Okay, for example, in the PPT, you can see here, we have this HTML body, one H1 tag, which has some text called hello world, then again body closing and HTML is closing. So here document is the global file. Inside this HTML, this HTML code, HTML tag will always known as root node. So every element or every text, even comments, are node of a DOM tree. So basically what is DOM? It creates a tree of whatever HTML code we write, all the tags, text and comments. So it will create a tree-like structure that is called as DOM, and we can manipulate this DOM using some inbuilt methods. Okay. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, it is.
You can check all this stuffs like document.all. It will give all the HTML tag collection. It is an array type object, but it is not an array. We can't use for each loop directly here. Okay, for each loop we basically use for array, but this looks like an HTML tag collection, but it is not an array, so we can't perform array operations in this DOM tree. Okay. Suppose if I just want to see I just want to check the whatever, what is inside this body. So we can check here, body, and if you will say, we can see here we are getting this body tag. Means in whatever the child node will be inside this body, that also we can see. So inside this body, and wherever in which code we will go, it will display in the left side, okay, where we are targeting. Currently I'm targeting, this is heading, it is H1 text, so it's showing what is the place. Okay, so wherever you will go, you can check its place, like which code is related to what UI and all those, which component, all those things you can check here with the help of body tag. I hope this is clear till now. So similarly, if you want to check the forms, then we can do document.forms. Like that, we have some different properties. You don't have to remember all the properties. These are some of the important properties that already I have mentioned that you will be using in your day-to-day programming. Apart from that, you just need to go through once. If you find something which is being used, then you can just see the reference, what it is about. But you can't remember all the properties here. Okay. So suppose if I do this document.all, suppose if I want to if I want to see each element separately, then how we can do that? Okay, so we can't use for each loop here. For example, if I do for loop, then it won't. In the console, you can see that b.forEach is not a function. So we can't use for each loop inside it. Look, if you will see it, it looks like array only. In array, we have indexes. Similarly, here we also have the array structure. But we can't use for each loop here, as we can use it into the arrays operations. Okay. So but we can iterate it using if you remember, while in the first lecture when I taught you guys about how to create arrays, there was one method called array.from. So we can use that method and we can create one array from this. So now here you can see creating all the windows object. Okay, guys. So now we will see the what is node and what is node relationship. So a node in the DOM is a fundamental unit of the DOM tree. The DOM represents a web document as a tree structure where each element, attribute, text, and other components are nodes. Okay, so basically whatever tag we will be using like HTML body, H1, all the tags will be converted into node. It means each element is called as node, each attribute called as node, all the text will be called as node, and even comments are called as node here. So this is the document main file, and as I already explained this image, so we can move forward. So now we will see what are the node relationship in the DOM. So in the DOM tree structure, nodes are connected in a hierarchical relationship. This determines how nodes relate to each other, like parent, child, and sibling nodes. So in the DOM tree structure, as you can see here, so as you can see here, body is at one level, and then this div are at the same level. So here we always have child and parent relationship, child, parent, and siblings relationship. Okay, so inside this container div, we have one div called first child, another div called child, another div with class name child, and the last div with child. So these all are the children of this container element. Okay, currently we have 5 elements, so the main container is called as the parent element, and all these are the child element. So now what is the parent element? So for all of this child, we can have only one parent. So one parent can have multiple childs, but one child can have only one parent. So for all this child, first child, child red, and child with all this class name, whatever div inside this container, they are, so container is the parent of all these child nodes, and uh, container has all these child nodes. So what we can conclude from this, that one parent can have multiple childs, but all child will have only one parent element or one parent node. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So a node that directly contains another node as its child, except the root node has one parent. So basically, what is the root node? That HTML tag. What the first line of all the HTML code, we have HTML tag. That is the root node. Apart from that, all other node has some parent node. So suppose that if we will see this example, then which one is the root? Which one here? You can see we have body. So above this body, we have HTML tag. So HTML tag is the root. Apart from that root element or root node, all other nodes will have some parent. For example, for this body, parent node is HTML tag, which is a root node. For this H1, parent node is body. Similarly, for all these 4 childs, we have this container as a parent node. And what is the parent node of container? Can Andrew answer me that?
Body.
Body here. And what is the parent node of body?
Say it again. Parent of body
Parent node of body.
or HTML.
Yeah, HTML. So except root element, all other nodes will have one parent. So HTML tag doesn't have any parents. That's why it's called as root element. This is clear.
Yeah.
So here in this example, you can see the div is the parent node of P element. Here we have one div tag. Inside one div tag, we have one paragraph tag. So this paragraph tag has one parent, has a parent called div. Okay. So now we have child. Jana, is this clear to you till here?
Yes.
Okay. So nodes that are directly contained within another node, a node can have multiple child nodes. This I already explained you what is child node and what is parent node. So in this example, can someone tell me like what is the parent node of span tag?
Div.
Yeah. And what is the relationship between paragraph tag and span tag? We are talking about node relationship, right? So what is the relationship between this paragraph element node and span element node?
They both child of div.
They both are child of div. So since they are at the same level, they both have same parent, then they will call what will the relationship between paragraph tag and span? Then they are siblings. Okay, because they both have same parent element.
Okay.
So sibling node that share the same parent are called as sibling node. As I already explained you that div is the parent of paragraph tag also, paragraph element also, and span tag also. So it is P and span are sibling nodes because they have same parent called div. So ancestor nodes. So what is the ancestor nodes? Like all the like all those elements which is at the top of some elements are known as ancestor element. For example, here what are the top level element of paragraph tag? One we have div tag, one we have body tag, and one we have HTML tag. So all these three tags are ancestor nodes. Okay. Here of ancestor node of which element? This is the ancestor node of this paragraph element. Okay, means parent, grandparent, or great grandparent, all those relationships are comes under ancestor node. So a parent node is also an ancestor node that you can conclude from this. So for the P element here, div is the parent node, body is the grandparent node, and HTML tag is the ancestor node. So a grandparent node is also an ancestor node. A parent node is also an ancestor node. Is this clear?
Yes.
Now same way how we have ancestor node at the top level, so for the down level we have descendant nodes. Okay, for example, for this div element we have here section and P which is under the div, then it is called as descendant nodes. And all the child node, all the children, grandchildren inside that is suppose for this section we have a child called paragraph tag hello. Okay, this is under section. You can how we can visualize it. You can visualize it in such a way that how it comes. So inside div we have section, and inside section we have here paragraph tag. So section is the child of div and paragraph tag is the child of section. But all these tags, whether be it paragraph or section, it comes under the div. Div is the either a parent or grandparent of these tags. For example, for section here we have div is the parent element. On the other hand, for paragraph tag, it is the grandparent element. So whether be it a grandchildren or children, all those comes under descendant nodes. So we can say that all the child nodes are a descendant node. We can conclude this. Okay, is this clear?
Yes.
Yeah, so the root node, the topmost node in the DOM tree in an HTML document, the root node is the HTML element. So inside this HTML we write all the HTML code, so it comes under the what we say, it is called as root node, and it doesn't have any parent except this except this root node. All other node will have some parent, not some, only one parent. So now we will see our DOM selector. Okay, so in DOM selector we have single element selector and multi element selector. So when we say HTML DOM selector, what is the meaning of selector? We can visualize it here. So here by using this document.body or document.all, we can get the whole all the HTML files. But suppose if I want to do some operation with this element, then what can I do? suppose I want to change this color from black to red, then how can I do it using DOM? So these things comes under the DOM manipulation part. So if I want to, suppose if I want to change the color of the first child to red, okay, then how can I do that? For that I have to select specifically this element only, not the whole document. So how can we do it? So that for those selection of a single, so we can select a single element also and multiple element also. So we have two kinds of selector here. One is single element selector and another one is multiple element selector. So there are two ways to select single element selector. One is ID selector and another is query selector. Similarly, for multiple element selector, we have class selector and tag selector. So we will go one by one for each and we will do some practicals how we can select. So for ID selector, like we have one method called get element by ID. So what is the use case of this one? For example, if we will go here and if we see, we have here one div at the line number 12, we have one div which has ID first child. So if you want to target this element, then you can utilize this ID and you can target this element. For let me So you can see here we are finding a div. We are finding right now we are only selecting single element. Which element? This one, div ID first child, child rate good. So I can see inside this how many child I have in, for this div. So we have here one text and another is unordered list. In again this unordered list has some child. We can see those child also. We have here 5 li elements as a child of unordered list. So we can see here UL is the parent node of Li and div is the grandparent node of Li. So we can say that div is the ancestor of UL element and Li element, or UL node or Li node, and UL and Li are the descendant nodes of div tag. Okay. So we can select like this using get element by ID. So if we have provided some ID to our HTML elements, then we can use it to manipulate the DOM. This is clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. So can you guys please copy this code so you guys can perform some operation? We will see. And then you can copy. We will go, first we will finish this. Then you can like do the setup and then we'll, okay. We will do some hands-on on this. So using ID selector, we can use our either ID name, class name, or tag name. There are three ways using ID selector how we can target the elements. There are three ways. One is directly using the tag name we can target, using the class name we can target, and using ID we can target. So the difference between ID and class, I hope you all knows that ID is always unique. So one element can have one ID can have one ID can be used by only one element. On the other hand, classes can be used into multiple elements. So this is the difference between ID and element. ID is always unique. On the other hand, class can be shared with other elements. So, but when we use ID selector, what is the difference between like when we say it's a single selector, it means it will only select a single element. Okay. So when we target this first child with the ID, then it only selected this element. See, but if I use get element by ID with a class name, so, and what is the so
Can we use ID and class name at the same time?
Yeah, obviously we can use, no issues. At the same time means at the same code, no, we have to target one by one. Either you can use target, you can target it one time, you can target it using ID, another time you can target it using class name.
Okay, so like we can create chain of methods.
And yeah, we can create chain method. After selecting something with the ID, you can select the class. If it has some child nodes, that you can select using either the class name of child node, or the tag name of child node, or the ID of the child node.
Mm-hmm.
That is chaining. Chaining means you can't like first you have selected this one. If you will chain on C something, then it will be applied on this first child, not on the whole document. Okay. So you will get the element which has ID first child, and ID is always unique. It means you will always get the single element. For the class name, if you will look like suppose suppose if I want to see all the class name of this C element, then what I can do? I can do how many class name we have for this element. If we have to check, now if we see how many classes we have, one is child, one is red, and one is good. So if we check in our code of HTML, here in index.html, we can see for the targeted element we have here is div. It has three classes, child, red, good. So we can get out all the information about the element also using this DOM manipulation. But first we have to select some element. Once we have selected an element, then we can manipulate into many ways. Okay, we can add color to it, we can change the inner text of something, anything we can do, but first we have to select it. For this selection, today we are only studying about how we are going to select it. For this selection, we have single element selection, it's a single element selector, and multi-element selector. In single element selector, we can only select single element, means only one element at a time. So whenever we use get element by ID, at that time we are targeting this. Obviously, ID is unique, then obviously we are going to target only one element. Similarly, we can do that with the with the help of query selector also. Okay, so all other codes you can see, like if you want to see the class name, then you can see class name. If you want to see what are the child nodes it has, you can see. Oh, one difference you have to learn here, what is the difference between child node and children. Okay, so that we should try. So if you will see, translator of all the variables should be always small, as we already learned on the naming convention part. So you can see we are getting the list of node. So at the zeroth element, in the child node, what are the child we have for this element. So we have one text inside this. This is the child one. In the left side, you can see wherever I will go, it will display us what we are currently targeting. Okay. So we have one this text element, then we have this one unordered list here, and then we have one text element. So these three things we have inside this element. But if we will use children instead of child name, then it will omit all the text and all those things. It won't consider text and comments. Okay, here you have seen that it considered the text also, this or whatever we have written there. But if you will use children, you can see here it considered at the zeroth element, it considered this text as child. But now when it will give us HTML only one length, here length is one, but what we have seen earlier, the length was three. It was considering the text also. But it will means what is the difference between child node and children? This child node will give you the length of all the nodes, whether it is a comment or a text or anything or any attribute. But when we will use children at this time, it will only give you the element, the children element which we have inside that. Okay, is this clear, the difference between child node and children?
Yes.
Yes.
Similarly, child node, we have parent node also. So if you will use this element dot parent node, then it will show what is the parent node of that element, like we can see. Suppose you want to find the what we have selected this first child. So if we will write child dot parent node, then it will show us this div. Okay, let's see. So what we can do. So you can see we got the parent node here, div class container. Got it? So we have multiple all the nodes here, but these are the most frequently used node, these properties in the methods that you can use. You don't have to remember all the methods. So as and when you need, you can Google those things. Okay. Similarly, we have inner HTMLs, we have inner text. We will see the difference between inner text and inner HTML also. So, so this is heading. Okay, so what we can do, using this parent node or something, suppose this h1 is the tag. What we can do here, we can add some inner text inside that parent node or something like that. For example, this class id, let's give one id to this one. What we can do here, first we have to select it. What is the name we have used? Class. So, so can you guys find out the mistake why we are getting null?
Oh, because there is no space between.
So you can see the issue where we always need to give spacing properly, as I said. So these are the small mistakes that can like spoil your time. So you have to be careful while coding. Okay. So we can see currently we are targeting this, and it has one text called child2, and I want to change this text. For this, what I can do, I can play with it. Like now I have already selected this element, then I can do whatever I want. For example, I can write c dot inner text. So you can see currently we have here text called child2. But now when I change it, the text of this is changed to anything. And similarly, we can use inner HTML also. So, and we will understand what is the difference between inner HTML and inner text. Okay. So inner text, you can see we can only change the text of an element. If we have some text inside that element, and if you want to change it, then we can use in document dot. First, you have to select it using document dot get element by ID. It's a single selector, and then you can do some operation on it, like you can change the color of it, you can change the inner text, you can change the inner HTML also. Like currently we have here, suppose I want to color it using red, or I want to make it bold. Okay, suppose if I want to make it bold, then I can use here c.html. Suppose I want to make it bold. Okay. Okay, guys, understood? They're different operations, but you don't have to remember each and everything.
Yeah.
Similarly, we have query selector also. Using query selector also, we can use ID, class, and tag name. So what will be the differences? As you know, ID is the single element. So we can either use in the query selector, we can also use ID, same as we use in the CSS. We use hash in the CSS to denote ID. Similarly, for here in the query selector also, we use this hash symbol as a identifier for the IDs. Okay, same as CSS. For class we have dot, for tag name we have nothing. Okay, so suppose if you how we have that time we have earlier what we did, we selected this first child element. Similarly, we can again use this instead of what we say, instead of writing document or get element by ID, we can use query selector also. Okay, inside this query selector, if you are using a ID, then you have to use this has keyword, same as CSS. Child 1 or child 11. So you can see again we have selected the same thing but using query selector. So in query selector we can put all the three things. We can either use ID, we can use here class name, we can use here also tag name also. So for class name, same as CSS, we use dot here. So we will check what is the class name we have, and then we will try to select it using this query selector. Okay. So here we have, so you can see this child, we have so many class name here with the child UL. But when we are using query selector and it is a single element selector, then it won't select all the element having a class name called child UL. It will only select the first element which has a class name called child UL, and it will ignore all other elements. Okay, since it is a single element selector. I will show you here, like we can use any of the child in this one. So you can see we got here child UL, but only with only one element. Can you see this? Only one. This is the first UL element we have. That's why we are getting this one. Got it? Understood till this one? What is the difference between using this class name as a query selector? It will only select the first element which has this class name. Is this clear, guys?
Yes.
This is similar to find element versus find elements in Selenium, yeah?
Selenium, actually, I don't have idea.
To Andrew. You remember that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similar to that, yeah.
So similarly, we can select it using paragraph tag also. Okay. Any tag, like three ways we have three kinds of selector. Like for single selection, we have to completely total 4 ways. Out of that, one is this. One is that using get element by ID, we can target any element which has some ID, and ID is always unique. So obviously, it will always be a single selector. And using query selector also, we have 3 ways we can target using ID. We can target using what we say class name, and we can target also using this tags. So suppose I want to like check the first div tag of my whole HTML file. Then I can write this div tag. You can see here in this index.html file we have so many div tag, but it won't select all the div tag. It will only select the first div tag. And what is the first div tag here? They said the line number 11, a div tag with a class name called container. So you can see we got a div called with class name container. This is the first div of this element. So I hope this single element selector is clear to you guys.
Yes, yes.
Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, we can use tag name for the same whatever I explained you currently. They're the same thing here. We can it will select the first B tag even if there are multiple B tags. So same thing only. So here we can select header also using this element select tag selector. It will select the first H1 tag even if there are multiple H1 tags. So you can practice all those stuffs. I already shared the code with you in the last class. So you can practice all those things, like what will happen. Just play with it. Nothing else we have to do. For example, suppose whatever I have selected now, I can change the color of for this container also. Suppose I have selected this child UL, okay. So I can change the color of it also. So you can see here this became red. Okay, I targeted this element and I change its color. So whatever you write the CSS in your CSS file, instead of that you can do this DOM manipulation also. But these DOM manipulations are very expensive, so we don't do it until unless there is a requirement, which will only render the few elements. But it can have a like when we will learn React, then we will learn about what are stateless component, what is stateful component. So there this will be like monitoring, like what is expensive, is it we should do DOM manipulation or not. So those things you have to consider. These are expensive to perform in the computational process. So we should not always do it. We should try to avoid it as much as we can. But you should know the things. Okay, so you got this now. What we can do using this element selectors. So now for the multiple selector, we have class selector and when we have tag selector. Okay, so class selector is same as get element by ID. Instead of get element by ID, it will have get elements, since it will select multiple. So instead of element here, we will instead of get element, we will be using get elements. And the case it follows is always Pascal case, as I already explained you about what is snake case, what is kebab case, what is Pascal case. So it will always follow a camel case. Okay. So similarly, like get element by ID, we have get elements by class name. So it won't give us only the first element with this with that class name. It will give us all the elements which contains that class name. Okay, that's why it's a multi selector. And similarly, like we have one selector for document dot get element by tag name. So the get elements, it is also a multi selector. So there also we will use get elements instead of get element. So that will like suppose if you will search for get element by tag name, and if you will write div there, then it will give you all the divs in that particular DOM tree. Okay. Let's see something. For example, we have so many elements here with the class name child given, so we can select that. What is the class name that we have? Child event. So we can use this class name. You can see here, we can see we have HTML collection of 5 elements. So it means that we have 5 elements with a class name called child u. Okay. Perform the same operation with this also. Like if you want to change all the colors of all these elements to something blue or green, then you can use this multi, and whatever inline styling we use in our HTML, like style tag and all those, that all the inline styling tags you can use here. So you can write multi dot style dot color is equal to green or something. We don't have any text here. Give it the 0th element child. Okay, so this doesn't have any text, that's why it's showing here. So same, all the operations what we have performed there, the same operations you can perform here also. For example, you can target this h1 using this tag name. Get elements by so you can see we have one HTML collection with h1, means with h1 tag we have only one element. Why it's throwing error? Can you guys find? Can you tell me the reason?
Maybe because you don't target text.
Because we don't target text. No, but the color properties is an attribute of h1 tag, so it should not target the text.
Mm.
This way we are applying attributes, like color is an attribute of HTML element, we are not targeting the text. So whatever will be there inside this h1 tag, it should show. So why it's not changing the color? Okay, this is the task we have to find. Okay.
You need to change the, I think, get elements by tag name to get elements. It will return only one element, right? Right now,
No,
get
no,
elements
no.
by.
Yeah, it will only return. We are targeting this element. It doesn't have any class name. It doesn't have any ID name, and we have to
And
target this element. So we are using get elements by tag name.
mm,
We are also even getting that element here in the console log multi. You can see it line number 42. Console, we are getting this at line number 42.
mm. Should we add 0 to after get elements by tag name and then open the square brackets and index 0 or no?
Yeah. That's what we have to do. That's what we can do. That's like you can try those things, like how what are the ways we can perform it. There are many ways to perform these operations, but you can check it. Like why anyway, I will be explaining this in the next class, but you have to see what are the ways. First, do some brainstorming. Okay, so these are the class selector, element selector. We have multi selectors, and the same way we have here tag selectors. Okay, so like if I will search for div, then I will get all the elements related to div. Here also you can see we have performed some operations. So this is the like how we can perform all the, suppose I have selected all the divs. Okay. So, let's see. You can see we got so many divs here, huh? And suppose I want to like change the color of all these elements, all the div element, some background color to something. Then how we can do that? I already taught you earlier here, array.flow. What we say, one of the method, like how we can traverse the all the elements.
Arrays of.
Array from
Ah,
array.from. If you remember. Okay, so using that, what you have to do, like as you can see in the here, we can see we have all these total 7 elements with div. Okay, total 7 div elements here. We have length is 8, means total 8 elements. 0 to 7 means total 8 elements here. So now what you have to do, as you cannot apply any logics here, like you can loop it directly using any array method. So what you have to do, you can select this one, and then after selecting this tag name, what you have to do, using array.from, you have to, after using array.from, you will find array.from and .for each loop. You can find each element separately, and you can apply this like style dot bg color something to, then it will apply to everyone. Do this and like share one of you guys share the screen and just do it to me. If you guys have set up this code in your local machine. Andrew, can you share the screen if you have done the setup?
yeah, one second.
Yeah, Jana, are we all on the same page?
Yes. Can you please copy this HTML for once?
So you can check. Zana, are you performing the operation same what I told to Andrew?
Yes.
So you have all the codes set up.
Copying it now.
Let's select one element.
Can you share syntax of?
Get element by tag name. Get elements. Like let me save the syntax.
Andrew, you're sharing screen?
Yeah,
Yes.
I said the syntax in the chat.
Your screen is looking professional, Andrew.
Why?
Like real developers, man. Dang, like
So what does it take? Function?
No. Array dot from will take any argument. Using that, it will create an array, whether it can be an object or an DOM tree. Also. We learned in the first lecture of array, we already learned the step what this array dot from object method.
No, I don't remember array from.
Array dot from, like you have to, so of what thing you want, for what, using what you want to create an
Oh,
array. So
from
currently we are
from
getting a
DOM.
DOM tree. Yeah. So using that DOM tree, we want to create an array. So now array is created. Now you can perform for each operation into this. After that, you can concatenate it using dot and you can perform for each operation. Dot for each. It's similar to, like, you guys don't remember for each loop I taught you. So you can write element, yeah, element for any item, something, anything, element.
Okay,
No, nothing like that. You don't have to do all this stuff. You just need to pass one parameter. Any parameter, element, item, anything you can write. What for each loop does, I explained you in the array class. Like if we have 5 elements inside an array, so whenever we will use for each loop, that time it will take one element at a time. So whatever argument you will pass inside the for each element, it will at one go it will take one element. So I say the whole. Yeah, I said you the code. You can change that tail from con. So array dot, this for each loop is an callback function. Similarly, we will learn later on lots of other also higher order functions. Those are like set, map, filter, and then reduce, all these higher order functions. So can we see the live preview of this one? And you can use this in the Go Live or any browser. Like go, are you using VS Code? Then go to the folder structure. Yeah, Go Live first. We can't see your screen.
No, it didn't change.
Can you show once your screen? Yeah. So open the console tab. So go to console. Go to console. Go to your HTML file. Have you imported this script or not? Go down at the end. You already imported lecture1.js. So this is the issue. No? You named it lecture1.js. You have to name it index.js. So you can see all the divs, what we have done. First, we have selected all the div elements and using from array.from, we converted that tree structure into an array form, and then using for each loop, we are changing the colors of all the divs in yellow. You can write any color here. Also, you can like go inside some child. Also, like you can like traverse the whole thing. So tomorrow we will be looking for how we can traverse the domain, how we can traverse the domain, how we can replace and create nodes into that. Okay. So tomorrow we will be finishing DOM by understanding two topics, and that is traversing the DOM and creating, deleting, and replacing the elements. Okay. So right now, like he will share the PPT. After that, like we will do some whatever exercise. We will review whatever the assignment was there in the last class, that we will review for 45 minutes, and we will see. So you can take like 10 minutes break if you want right now.
Okay.
Then we can continue with the review coordinates.
Okay. Thank you.
Andrew, we will wait for Janu. Once she's back, then we can start.
Yeah, sure.
I'm back.
Okay, guys. So, let's do the code review starting with Andrew. Can you show those questions you have solved related to JavaScript function and loops, all those?
Yeah, sure. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. So, except question one, you can comment out all the other stuffs, and let's check on the some use cases.
Yeah, so this one is the same like in Java. To reverse the string, we take the first element from the end and put in the front. So we start from length -1 and then decrement.
But why are you defining data type here? Are you using TypeScript or JavaScript?
Say it again.
I'm saying, why are you defining data types everywhere? Are you using JavaScript or TypeScript?
Here?
Yeah, every place like array, any, let I, number, all this stuff.
Is it not necessary?
No, like I already told, we don't have to mention any data type here.
Oh, but it's throwing an error.
It's fine, perfect. What language you have selected? Maybe TypeScript or what? You're using .js only, huh? Why are you getting all these errors? Can you remove from all the places from line number 2 and line number 4 also? In line number 4, you are using number. In line number 2, you are again using array something. Remove all this.
No, this is feature provided by the ID. I cannot.
Okay. That is very good. Yeah, that's why it looks like TypeScript. Okay, we can do control there. This is fine. Okay, this is fine. Go to question number 2. So in question number 2, what will be the time complexity? If you remember, I told you when we use single for loop, then the time complexity is order of
Yeah,
n.
it will
Yeah,
be square.
it will be order of square. So
Yeah.
and I told you that we should never write any code in the order of square, n square. Okay. What else can you use here?
What else to remove duplicates?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you know I taught you one property called index of, if you remember. And I told you the index of will always take the index of the first element, isn't it? Suppose if we have suppose if we have, like here you can see we have 3 10s, 2 5s, 2 8, okay. But whenever we will search for the index of 10, that time it will always give us the first element, isn't it? Can you I'm just giving you a hint. Can you utilize this property of index X to solve this issue
Yeah, let me try.
using index of? Zana, you can also try and use.
So we need loop, right?
Yeah, same for loop. One for loop you will be required.
Yes.
Let's
No. Index
You're
of,
not getting. Okay,
index
what you
of I. So we need if
so is equal to
yeah, so
equal to what?
it it will be
Like instead of this you can use for each loop directly here. Like what it's an array. Okay, so for an array we can use for each loop. So you can, in for each loop we have the two kinds of arguments. We can pass their index and what we say the element. Two things we can pass there. Okay, so using index of, what you can check there, if the index of the this I is equal to index, current index, then we should push it into a empty array, otherwise we should not push it. Got my point? Like for example, what will be the index of 5 here, the first 5?
one.
1. Okay, and like second 5?
Uh, 6.
6. Yeah, all right, 6. Okay, so when I will check index of 5, what I will get? If I check index of 5, if I use index of property, and if I check for 5, what I will get? I will get 1 only, na? Because
6.
it gives the first element index. It gives the index of what this index of method does in array. It gives the index of first element, that whatever he found. He won't check for the second one and third one. As soon as he will get his first element, he will return back and he will give you the index of that element. Okay. So what you can instead of like you can use for each loop first. Use for each loop. Then we will see how we can do this using for loop also.
No.
No, there we have to write for each, not for loop. Yeah, there you have to write in the line number 19, you have to write for each, not for. Whatever currently you are writing, that is the syntax of for off loop.
Yes.
Okay, that is here. For each loop is a, what I told you, it's take callback function. So first you write for each. As I send you this that format that time for the for each loop. You can yeah, space for, then space you can use.
Oh, is it array function? Yes.
Yeah, for each again. For each,
Okay,
yeah.
I see.
Now it will take a callback function, so you have to write function, and you have to pass. You can pass uh, index and element, comma element. Yeah.
Okay.
Here
Now,
you have to write yeah, that logic only. Index of I is equal to index. You have to. index. No, this is fine. This is fine. That was good on. No. In replace EL with index and let it be element only. Index of element.
Equal to index, right?
Yeah. No, you can check. You can create one empty array and you can proceed. You can write unique or something, unique array or something, like declare one variable. Variable name should be always meaningful.
It's empty.
What are you getting?
Say it again?
We are getting an empty array.
Yeah.
Why so? Making any mistake or what? Can you look for the mistake? Can you do console log of index and console log of element one by one? Yeah.
Before pushing?
Yeah, here on the right console log. Yeah, console log index and comma. After index, put comma. Element. Yeah. Yeah. No, before, not inside the if block, outside of the if block, after line number 20. So now you can see, okay, the issue is coming. You have to write element first and that later index. That is the issue. You replace the positions of element in index in line number 20 also. Line number 20. Now run it. So you got 10, 5, 8, 50.
Yeah.
So you learned how we can debug things. Okay. So suppose something is not working, you can check what number we are getting, what index we are getting, or what element we are getting. So this way we have to debug whenever you get some issues. Huh? So in the first lecture of JavaScript, I taught you about all the console log function inbuilt methods. So there I told you that for debugging purpose, we will always be using this console log. So this is one way. If you will check this, it is taking an order of 1, okay, because it's only running the loop for one time. What else? So can you convert this directly into the traditional for loop with index of? Can you now you can try that too. Jana, I got you got this one or no?
Or this line?
No, I'm asking. Yeah, this is the syntax only for each element. This is the syntax of for each. It will take a callback function. That's why inside this, where we write parameter, there we are again mentioning one more function. Okay, so for each always take one callback function. This is the syntax. This same syntax we will be using for all other things when you will learn map and all those, the same kind of syntax. Everyone will take this callback function, then you will be familiar, like you will be using it regularly and you will be familiar. Because when we will learn JavaScript, that time we will be most of the time we will be using map only. Okay.
Okay,
So
so what does this function do?
this function, look what we are doing. You can remove the function, element, index, everything inside this first. Uh, just uh, just keep the parenthesis. Yeah, yeah. Remove those index and element also, everything. Yeah, yeah. One more time backspace. Close it. Yeah, close it just for each. and close it. So you can see it's just like a function, how we write function. It's same as that, isn't it? Inside this, it's a method. So inside this, we will pass some parameters, isn't it? For each is an inbuilt like loop, so inbuilt method. So inside this, we will pass some parameters. So what it takes one callback function. And what else it takes? It can take this element also that we will learn while object-oriented programming. Okay. So what it takes one callback function. So to pass a callback function, we have to write function. Got it?
Yeah.
So inside this, we will define one function. So you will write the function right inside this.
Can I write arrow function?
Yeah, you can write any kind of function.
Okay.
Maybe you have to remove the later parts when you are using this arrow function. Like you are again closing, again you are opening. No?
No. Well, close it here.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Wait.
No, first line number 20, delete that part. No? Line number 20, delete the last. Yeah. Where you are closing and then again you are opening it. Yeah. Put everything inside this bracket.
Okay.
Yeah. Element and index. Pass element and index. Now run it. Same result. Okay. Got it. So whatever the ways we have learned to create a function, you can use any of those methods. Okay. So it just take a callback function. Zana, you got this one?
Yes.
So now go to question number 3.
The question number 3.
Okay.
To get this part, right?
Can you run this and so on? Okay, fine. What else we can use it? Can you solve this using for loop also?
Yeah.
Try to do that. You try to do that. Till then, Jana, can you share your screen and show me what on your course? Jana, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, can you share the screen and show what you
Do I stop sharing?
Yeah, you can you finish this. Once you finish, then ping in the chat. You try to finish this first.
Okay.
Print the string which is inside curly braces from the above string. So string.
No, I'm asking you to share your screen, Jana. Show me your codes.
I'm sharing, right? Or I'm not sharing.
Oh yeah, right. Can you show me the number first question? This is also good way. Remove the duplicate from the button. Go down line number 19. Question 1 is fine. Is this the answer coming from ChatGPT or what? In line number 23, why it is writing remove the duplicate? Why you use such a complicated way? To for loop and
We used to do when we were studying, like whenever we had array, we used to loop and we were comparing two
That is
numbers
fine, but why are you using then splice again?
for this place so that I
This
have.
is okay, got it. But you learn the new one. We don't have to do anything in the order of any certain complexity. Whenever we will use one for loop inside another one, then it is an order of n square. If we are using nested for loops, if there are three for loop, one inside another, then it will be again order of n cube. But if all the for loop are separate, like no one is nested, no one is inside any other one, then that will be order of n only. Whether be it 4 for loop or 10 for loop doesn't matter. If they are not nested, if they are not inside another for loop, then it is an order of n. But currently you are using nested for loop. Okay.
Mhm.
So you can try later on using the remove the first with using index and element, and then you can try with the what we say this or traditional for loop. Okay, go to question number 3.
Print a string which is inside.
Everyone has written same kind of codes. Great. Remove the first occurrence of 7 to get 4 and 7.
So here I'm just removing the first one. Before I was removing the last one, and here I'm removing.
So for this, just to remove the first one, why you need why you need so much of complicated code? I don't understand.
Yeah. Maybe.
Like you can write only one, what we say, one for each loop or for loop, and then you can use index of 7, and you should remove that. Fine,
Okay.
if it's fine for the first time. That's fine. We can use many ways, but you should never use nested for loop. Again, here we have order of n square. Go down to the question. Only 4 questions were there.
Oh yeah, this is the second way of.
Yeah, this is good way. This is nice way. This you can use. Yeah. This way you have to do. Okay, can you think for a situation where like currently you are using OR operator? Suppose if there are instead of 3, there are 12 such kind of possibilities. Then how you will handle it? You will use more OR operator or what?
Maybe no, then it would be more make sense just to check it for alpha if it is numbers or alpha or letters.
Andrew, are you done?
I'm trying. So the only one idea I have to use char add method.
You can share the screen.
Share the screen.
Yeah, share the screen.
Okay. This one. Can you see it?
Just give me a second. Yeah. Yeah, instead of that, what you can write
So
in the starter. Yeah, what I was saying that instead of doing this, what you can
yeah.
do, when you find the like you can start directly, like here you are starting with 0. Is that correct? At
Oh,
line
you
number 31, you are starting with 0. Instead of starting with 0, you can directly start from t by finding the index of this first curly braces. Are you getting my point?
okay? If index.
Not here in the line number 31 where you have written let I equal to 0. Instead of 0, you can write index of that element.
Mm-hmm.
That element, index of, write index of method str dot index of here. That curly braces, right? Curly braces. So you will get the index of curly braces, and you have to start it from 1. Then you can write plus 1 after that. Yeah, after method plus 1. Then you will write I is not I is less than index of that one, greater one, that second curly braces. Second curly braces. Yeah. And then what you can do, you can push it into some other string, assign it into some other string. You can write filter str, something like that, or two. Yeah. Let. Hmm. You have to write str2 plus, I taught you the shortcut, na? Plus equal to str2 plus
Plus
stri.
str.
Str plus str, like inside that you can write I. Not sti. Str, no, you are writing str 2 times there, bro. You just have to write stri. Str2i, not stri. Or you can write str2 equal to str2 plus str2 index. You're not getting my point, what logic I'm trying to explain you. I want to add one element with another element. So how we can do that? We can use concatenate operator. What is this concatenate operator? This plus operator. I taught you in the operator series. Work as a concatenation for strings. Did I think I explained these things, na? That if we will use plus operator with a string, then it will concatenate, if you remember. So what we can do is we can write str. Yeah, you have to write the str2 instead of str at line number 33.
Like this?
Yeah. So what does it mean? It means str2 is equal to whatever the result currently we have, with you can like anything, like you can, this is also fine, no issues.
But
You
I already did plus equal.
plus equal. Plus equal means str is equal to shorthand properties. I think if you open the first PPT where I talk about the operators, so these are assignment operators. No? We are assigning the value of str2 plus str, not str2 here. You have to write index I inside this. Let me send you. You can write two ways. Okay, one is str2 is equal to str2 this is the one way. Second way, how what you can write directly in the shortcut str2 equal to, yeah. So you can use any of the, you can use the second one also. Got it? Why are you getting like this?
The str2 is empty. What does this do?
Yeah, it's an empty string now. Then it should add some value str2 There's nothing.
Like this.
Yeah, like this only. It is not searching. Let's see. Let I is equal to str.index. Can you remove the plus one from there and check once? From line number 32. Yeah, just remove the plus one. What it say? Forget this. So what it will assign light I equal to. You are not doing any console log for str2. Yeah, that is also the issue. You are just assigning the value. Just inside that you can do console after that. Yeah.
Oh, so.
So look now, if you will add plus one, then you will find.
Maybe.
Can you remove the plus one from there?
Plus one.
Yeah, remove from there, and you can you can add in the second line number 33 stri plus one.
Say it again.
Yeah, here in line number 33, wherever you have written stri at the end, there add I plus one. Plus one. Yeah. So are we getting T Y K E Y? This is fine. And then again we are getting that is less than when we have searched. Like this also it should come, but why it is saying x of T Y K E Y. Okay, we are using there you can write index of this minus one right? Yeah, it's similar only. Either you can add plus one in the line number 32 or a minus one at the end. Yeah.
Okay,
So here
but
also you can see TYKEY. This is
why
one only.
is printing undefined?
As I explained earlier, that console log will be always what returns it returns undefined. I explained this while explaining you guys the function, why it is returning undefined, why it is not returning undefined. If we won't give any return value to it, then it will give undefined only. Okay.
Okay.
Why it is coming undefined? Because at the beginning line number 30 doesn't have this one. Return, we can't return to a folder. For that we have to create one function. Okay, instead of like what we are doing currently, we are hard coding str. Okay, instead of that we can write a function, and inside that function in the we can pass any parameter str1 str2. You can create like 5 6 with the same pattern 5 6 variable, and you can pass one by one into that function as a parameter, and you can perform this operation. And when I given you this assignment, that time you guys, at that time I didn't taught you the functions, but now as you guys are aware, so instead of writing these loops, now you have to create all whatever the questions were there, everything you have to solve using function. So it will like clarify both. It will revise your concept also, and apart from that, whatever the new topics you have learned into the function, that also you can apply. Okay. And try to avoid that double, what we say, an order of n square time complexity. Okay, go to question number 4.
Question number 4.
Mhm.
Oh, wait.
Can you run it?
To remove first 7.
Mhm. This is fine.
Is it okay?
Uh, because you're using only one for loop. So this is fine. But try to do one question from different methods. Okay, like there are many ways to solve a single issue. So even after solving one problem, you can think, okay, what are the other ways I can apply using whatever you've learned in the properties method of string and array. You have to think, can I solve this question using this method or not? Like that. Try to solve one problem using different method. Go to
Mhm.
question number 5.
Yeah, and in question number 5, I'm using the code of ASCII table
Yes, guys, good. I got it.
characters. Say it again.
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is nice. Okay, guys, so we will revise once and Zana, can you you're done with everything? You've completed all those steps, right? So now you can also try it using functions, whatever functions we have learned. Instead of hard coding like instead like here we have ARR5 is equal to some values, we are hard coding it correctly. Like instead of hard coding it, we can write a function and we can pass any like instead of ARR5, we can pass ARR6 also, ARR7 also, ARR8 also. Like we can pass different input into it. It can take any kind of parameters. Okay. So convert all these things into a function later on. So it will like first try sometimes use like function expression, sometimes try function statement, sometimes try fat arrow functions. Okay, so this will at least try these three functions. So this will also like help you to understand the syntax of all three kinds of functions, because these three type of there are many kinds of functions, but these three we will be using every day, especially the first one and the arrow function. Okay, function statement and arrow function, and most of the time this also function expression also along with this statement.
Okay.
So let's revise this once. You can let me share the screen. So what we learned today, what we see what is a DOM. So DOM is nothing, whatever HTML file we write. So the whatever the HTML code we write in any index.html or any file. So so all the element and the attributes and the text and the comments, all these four combine and paint into the DOM, means we paint it. So that is the in a tree like structure. So that is what we call as DOM. How we can see that I already explained in the code. Then you can write get all, you can write document all document dot body, and you can see the structure of the DOM. So it looks like a tree, that's why we call it DOM. Okay, so now we have different kind of relationship between, so each element of the DOM tree is called as node. What is a node? Node is the fundamental unit of DOM, means each element is text is called as node. So we understand the relationship we understood the relationship between the nodes, like what is a parent, what is a parent node, what is a child node, what is a sibling node, what is ancestor node, what is descendant node, like that. Okay, I hope these things are clear to you guys. So what is a parent node? I already explained that who has some child. I already explained the parent and child relationship in such a way that a parent can have multiple child, but a child can have only one parent. And from parent node, you also have to remember this. All the nodes, means all the HTML elements, have one parent except the root element or the root node. So root node and root element is HTML tag. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Then we learned about the DOM selector. We have two kinds of selector here. One is single selector and one is multi-selector. Using single selector, we can target any single element. Okay. For that, we have two kinds of thing: ID selector and query selector. Using an ID selector, that is get element by get. Since we are only targeting one, so it will we will use get element instead of get elements. When we have to target multi, then we will be using get elements instead of get element. Okay, so in single selector we have id selector and query selector. In id selector we have a method in the document object that is called as get element by id. So we can write document dot get element by id, and we can select that element, then we can perform many operations into it. Like I have shown you how we can apply css on it without writing any css file. We can do all the css using this DOM. Okay, we can I have showed you how we can add color, how we can add background color and all those stuffs. Okay, so one is that id selector, that is get document get element document dot get element by id. Second is query selector. We can write also the document dot query selector, and then we can pass either id, either class, or either id class or the tag. Okay, so when we have to pass id, that time we will be using has, like same as css selector. In css selector, how you write the external css, when you have to write for some class, then you use dot. Similarly here you will for selecting in single selector, also inside the query selector, you will be using dot to fetch to select some element using the class name. If you want to select it using the id, then you have to use has. For tag, you don't have to use anything. Direct inside the this quotation, you can put the tag name like div h1 or anything. Okay, so the difference between id and class, I explained you that id is unique always, class can be shared among the different elements. Okay, so whenever we will use query selector, and if we give some class name, so if there are multiple class name exist with the same class, like if I'm selecting for child, and if it has 5 child, then it will only select the first element which has a class name called child. It won't select the all the if we use query selector, then it's not going to select all the element with a class name called child. Okay, it will only select the first one. Same thing will happen with the tag. If I will search for a query selector, and then if I will write div, then it will only select the first div element, not all the div elements, because it's a single selector. Got it? Is this clear till here, everyone? I'm looking for response.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, is this clear? So now we have multi-selector. In multi-selector, we can use either get elements by class name or get elements by tag. Okay, these two are there. So using class selector, how we write how we have this id selector for a single selector, like get element by id. Similarly, we have class selector called get elements by class name. Using that, you can find all the class name. Then you will get a HTML element, which I already explained you, that is not an array. So you can't perform array operation into that, and you have to find out the reason why that multi was not getting console. I'm just giving you a hint. It's an array, like it looks like an array, but it is not an array. We have to create array from it. Okay. Whenever multi-selector will come, that time we will get more than one element. So it will again be an object, not an array. It will look like an array, but it is not an array. So you can't directly apply array operations there, any operation. Okay, you can't use for each loop and for off loop, all those things. Okay, so first you have to convert that into an array, then you can perform any operation. Similarly, we have tag selector called like we can select any tag out of it. Okay, is that clear? Andrew?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Andrew, what is DOM according to you?
DOM, it stands for document object model, and like it shows all elements with attribute and how they related each other.
And what is the use case of it? Like, why? If there is something, then then it must have some use case. From learning this, what you understand? What is the use case of this DOM elements?
To locate
DOM.
the elements and perform some action on it.
Yes. So that is the main use case. Okay. Then we have. So if you have to perform, some array operation into a document object model, how you can perform, what you will do.
Say it again, please.
I'm asking, like, in a DOM object model, suppose you have written some HTML code, and it obviously then it will come as a document object model in the console. If you will write document.all or document.body or any, if you will select more than one element, then it will come as a DOM tree. Okay. So, and if you have to perform some array operation on that DOM tree, then how you can create one array from it and perform DOM operation?
How to use array from?
Yeah, you can use array from, and you have to write the suppose whatever name you have put it for document object model. Suppose if you are writing element, let element equal to document dot all, so you will get all the element inside one variable called element. Now you can make array dot from, and you can write the variable name element, and you can then it will automatically create one array. Then you can perform all the operations of array, like for of loop, for each loop, anything. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Janer, what is parent node?
Parent object is the main object that is that starts the HTML starts from. So can have there could be parent and child, and parent child can have only one parent, but parents can have many children. So there are many child classes.
So basically, what we can say that any node which has some child is called as a parent node. Any node which has either one or more than one child is called as parent node. Is this definition correct?
Yes.
Any node which has either one child or more than one child is called as parent node. Okay. So what is sibling nodes? Andrew.
Like on the same level.
Yes, same level, but how we will define it? When we will say that, okay, it is in the same level.
Of when two or more elements have the same parent.
Yeah, when both the elements share the same parent, then they are in the same level and they are siblings. Okay. There are properties also like dot next sibling. Similarly, whatever operation I have said, you can find the next sibling. We have search child node, children, parent node. Similarly, we have next sibling, previous sibling, like that. Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't have to learn each and every property. You should just know. So we already covered ancestor node, descendant nodes, root node. Okay. Yeah, I have already explained some other node I have explained here. You can check that first child, last child, next sibling, then node name, node type, node value, previous sibling, and node name, etc. I have explained there. You can try each and every one. Whatever is the PPT, okay. So, Zanar, how many ways we can select multi elements in a DOM tree?
By ID, class name.
ID, using ID, we can select multi elements.
On the class name.
So, what are the ways we can select multi elements in the
class, and also tag name.
tag name and class name? These two only exist. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to tell the method name, like get elements by class name, get elements by tag name. So these two methods you can use. Document dot get element by class name. Inside document is an object. So inside an object we have multiple inbuilt methods. What is method? If you remember, and Andrew, can you tell me what is method? I explained this to me.
Yeah, the function inside the object.
Yeah, method is a like inbuilt function which has which performs some specific task. Okay. Similarly here, and what I explained you about the method, how can you identify it is a method? Whenever we have a parenthesis, it is a method or function, isn't it? So you can see whenever we write get element by ID or get elements by class name or get elements by tag name, we will always have one parenthesis in the end. Inside that we pass some parameters. So those are inbuilt methods. So for a single selection, what are the ways you have, Andrew, to select a single element? How many
By
ways you can select? I'm just asking the numbers. How many ways you have to select?
2 ways, by ID and query.
Okay, so inside that query, yeah, inside that query, what you can pass and what are the ways you can find the single element?
Inside the query, ID, tag, class.
ID, class, and tag. These three you can pass. And the selector will be same as CSS selector. For ID, we will be using hash. For class, we will be using dot, and for tag name, we will be directly passing the tag name. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah. I think this is enough for you. Tomorrow we will finish this DOM by learning traversing the DOM, and second one is replacing the element of replacing and then removing and then adding some element on that. We have create node, then we have like create text, all those. Then we have to append it into something. We will finish this DOM tomorrow, and after like in this week we will be also finishing events, object events, like how we can add event listener on some click, mouse click or hover, how we can do some we can write some functions, JavaScript function, and we can perform some specific task on, like if we will do double click, if we do single click, if we will hover on some div, then what are the events and event object and what are the operations we can perform it. After that, we will do some like one medium level project using JavaScript. Okay. So revise all the steps properly. Then I'm explaining you something about for each loop. Then you should be aware of this for each loop. Like whatever I'm teaching you, it will be connecting. Like from previous class will be connected. The next class will be always connected to the previous class knowledge. So just revise for a few minutes and like try to cover it. Like okay.
Yeah.
Is there any questions, any doubts you can ask? And like I will try to go to that LMS software and will create some QGIS which is related for in your like programming also, as well as for interview purpose. All the key, using all the key points, I will create some QGIS if I get some time and even have to check that. Okay. So any questions, guys?
No question.
Dana, do you have?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, you guys can practice.
Yeah. Thanks.